I think that scent is one of the most underrated aspects of personal style, and that's a shame really, because smell is one of the most powerful senses we have. A lot of research in neuroscience and psychology shows us that scent is processed in the same part of our brain that handles emotion and memory. So because of that, fragrance can play a huge role in the way that we form, recall, and trigger memories and emotions for ourselves and for other people. So today I thought I would show you my personal perfume collection and share with you why I bought those scents, how and when I wear them, and I will give you a few tips along the way to help you build a deeply personal and intentional perfume collection. If you're new here, I'm Kim. I love fashion, travel, and the details of everyday life. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, go ahead and subscribe and let's enjoy it together. Okay, so before I jump in, I just really quickly want to run you through sort of the 3 ways that I'm thinking about scent, at least for the purposes of this video. So firstly, I think about the emotional aspect of it. What does it make me feel when I smell it? The second way of thinking about it is seasonality. Is this a fall scent, a summer scent, a year-round scent? And then I think scenario, where am I wearing this to? What character am I embodying? Like, what's the scene, right? Some scents really do trigger that sort of like character world building. And so that's another way that you can think about it. Full disclosure, I've got some notes down here if you see me looking over here, because I want to make sure that when I tell you what things smell like, I'm using the right words so you know what to look for yourself. Okay, so the first perfume that I'm going to talk about is Daisy Dream by Marc Jacobs. This is a lighter and airier variation of the very famous and very popular Daisy scent. According to my notes, Daisy Dream is bright, airy, and very clean, with notes of pear, blackberry, blue wisteria, jasmine, and white woods. I really like that. To me, it's very fresh and clean. It's a very summery scent. I wear this almost exclusively in summer, and for me, it's usually a daytime scent as well. It doesn't have sort of the, I don't want to say like sensualness that I like in the evening, or like sweetness. I mean, it's not sweet, but it's definitely just more like uplifting and daytimey, and yeah, I just don't, to me, it's not a nighttime scent. So I do prefer to wear this in the daytime. And the great thing about this is that while it is a strong perfume, like it's, at least up front, it's quite strong, it like wears really lightly on your skin and it fades relatively quickly for a perfume. So if I wear this in the morning, I don't have to worry about it competing with another scent in the evening, which I really appreciate. I would classify this as kind of one of my default scents, like a summer default scent. And yeah, it doesn't really trigger any particularly strong emotion in me. It's just sort of, I just enjoy it, and I always have. It's pretty easy. It's really default. It just smells happy. So I don't have to think too hard about it. It's not a strong emotional scent for me. It's just kind of like an easygoing, happy-go-lucky, just having a good day kind of scent. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I think of it as a default or a baseline scent. The second one I have is from Roger and Gallet, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's this Neroli scent, which is very different from Daisy. I got this as a gift from one of my really good friends, and I kind of put it aside because I had a bunch of other stuff, and I came back to it like a year or so later, and I think it was at a time when I was really looking for something that had a lot more citrus and kind of lemon in it, and this really does. So in case you're not familiar with Neroli, and let me again look at my notes here. The dominant note here is Neroli, which comes from orange blossom. This scent is also paired with bright citrus notes, especially lemon and bitter orange. It gives it like a very intense, fresh and clean opening. And then there's some white florals that kind of soften in the undertones. So this is a really, I think, really lovely. This is like very high summer to me. It just smells like a citrus garden and sunshine. So I really like that in this scent. Very happy, again, very easy. It's not an overly complicated scent. It's not super complex, but it just smells delightful and like, yeah, kind of like fresh lemon. So I really, really like that. This goes on really light and it doesn't have a ton of longevity. So you do kind of have to apply it a couple of times throughout the day if you really want this scent to last, but that's okay. I really like it. I think it has made me realize that I definitely want to invest in a perfume that is a bit more like elevated and has a higher quality of ingredients to it, mostly so that I can get the longevity, because I really, really love this in summer. Like, to me, being able to walk around smelling like a citrus orchard is it's peak what I want. It's what I want to like always be like, you know, it's just this beautiful smelling citrus garden. So this, I would say, is another like easy summer daytime default scent. So I call these default scents because I really think of them as sort of reflecting like a baseline emotional state. For me, I think of myself as a pretty easygoing, happy, like I'm naturally pretty optimistic. Not that I don't get down or like have rough days, but my baseline is usually happy and optimistic and like pretty easygoing. And these are two quite different scents. Again, like this is very floral and this is very citrusy, but they're both that like easy, no fuss, but really just enjoyable scents. And I come back to them because I enjoy them, but it doesn't trigger anything particular beyond, that's really nice and I enjoy that. And so that's kind of why I call them like default scents. They're just ones that I sort of default to when I don't have a strong emotional pull in a different direction. When you're going shopping for a perfume, I think you should ask yourself this question of, what does it make me feel when I smell something, right? I've said this already, like in this video a couple of different times. How does a scent, like what emotion does it trigger in you? If you smell something and it makes you recoil, or it does kind of nothing for you, or it doesn't kind of, your mind doesn't return to it as you're shopping, that's probably a good sign that that's not a scent for you. It's not doing much for you. It's not reflecting anything in you. So you can just let that go. But if you, like me, find some scents that aren't really pulling you in a strong emotional direction, but you definitely just enjoy them, and you keep smelling it and you keep being like, that's just really nice. I enjoy that. Like, I like smelling that. That is probably a really good indicator that that could be a good default scent for you. You know, it's kind of like, what is your default outfit, right? When I want to throw something on and not think about it, what do I put on? It's the same concept for a scent. These are sort of the scents that I can throw on without having to think about it too hard. So that's a default scent. And then there are the scents that really trigger that emotion or that memory, or that just bring a strong, hopefully positive emotion to you. And I think those are really good scents to consider as like, as sort of scents to add to your collection that you can wear when you want to feel confident, or when you want to feel a little sexy, or whatever you want to feel. Like, I think those are scents that are really nice to add because they automatically evoke that feeling in you, and you can use them to reflect that when you are already feeling it, or you can use them to trigger that if you're not feeling it. So that's, I think, a really helpful way to think about the emotional aspect of a perfume when you bring it into your collection. All right, so speaking of scents that can trigger some emotion, the next two scents I have are scents that I think of as somewhat default, but that can also sort of ride that line and trigger some stronger emotions. So they kind of function as both a default scent, but particularly when I want to feel confident and feminine and like a little bold, I run to these scents, and this one in particular. So this one is Baby Cat. It's by YSL. Technically, this is a unisex scent, and I watched a review video on it the other day, and the guy who was taking it around and having people smell it, everybody was like, leans really feminine, and it does, because there's vanilla in here. I got this bottle at Heathrow duty free on my last trip to Europe when on my way home. And I was specifically looking for something that was kind of spicy and warm, and ideally had some like orange blossom in it, because I really love citrus again. So the guy at duty free like showed me this, and I mean, it's fair because, okay, the keynotes in this are pink pepper, black pepper, vanilla, incense, and a suede-like warmth. people will say like, oh, it smells like suede. I guess it does. But you can definitely get the pepper for the warmth, and the vanilla adds a sweetness. And I think that there is some orange blossom in here, but it's not the primary note. So to me, this is mostly like a peppery vanilla, more so than orange blossom. So keep that in mind. It's also a strong smell right off the bat. I would say that this can be kind of a divisive scent. Hillary probably wouldn't enjoy this one too much. I think it'd be a little strong for her. It does round out as you wear it. I like it myself. Like, I think it's really an enjoyable scent. So that's kind of maybe one of the things I default to in winter is this one, because I do think it mellows out nicely, and it does just kind of have this like nice sweet warmth to it. Not like a sugary sweet. It's definitely more like a vanilla extract sweet. I also find that it makes me feel quite confident when I wear it, like, because it's a pretty sharp scent and quite feminine. I find it to be, I don't know, it's like it is a bold scent. Like, I think it's very fitting that it comes from YSL, because YSL is all about like the power woman dressing, right? Like the power 80s woman. And I think that woman, this very powerful woman, this makes a lot of sense. It's a strong scent. It lasts throughout the day. It's warm and feminine, but it's confident. It's not overly sweet. It's not girly. It's very, it's mature, I would say. It's not for like people who want to be smelling like a girly girl. I don't know how to explain that better. And I don't always love using that kind of terminology, but I really just don't have a better way of describing it. It's just not like, it's not delicate. It's got some robustness to it, and I think that's why I gravitate towards it. I say it's a default scent, but it's also one that I really lean towards when I just kind of want to have that like power girl feeling, if that makes sense. So that's that one. This one you should recognize. It's iconic. J'adore Dior. This is the perfume that got me into perfume. I wasn't really a perfume person before then, and I remember, to the point of saying that like scent is an important part of how we form memories. I remember exactly the day and like the scenario and everything about when I bought this, and I can say that for pretty much every scent here. So this one, I had just gotten my first bonus from my first job as a marketer. I switched careers in my mid to late 20s. So marketing is like that's the career I chose to transition into. And I had gotten my first bonus from my first marketing job, and I was like 2 weeks away from heading on my first trip to Europe. So like lots of firsts. I was feeling really proud of myself, and I wanted to treat myself to something. And so I was sniffing around the perfume counters at Nordstrom, and I came across J'adore Dior, and I really liked it, and I sprayed it on my wrist and just kind of went about my day. I did some shopping. I looked at a bunch of other perfumes. I like went up and checked out, I don't know, some coats or something that I needed for the trip. And then I just kept getting like a little bit of a whiff of it from my wrist here and there. And I just kept being drawn back to it. And over the course of like an hour or two, I just like completely fell in love with this scent and ran back downstairs, bought a bottle of it. They were kind enough to find a smaller travel bottle that I could take with me to Europe, which was so sweet of them. And it's been in my perfume collection ever since. So this is an extremely floral scent, but it's not like a heavy floral. So J'adore has white flower fragrances. It's got jasmine, ylang ylang, rose, and orange blossom. And yeah, my notes say it is not super sweet. It's got like the sweetness that white flowers have, that sort of nice light floral sweetness, but it's not like sugary in any way. It's just very florally, very feminine, but really balanced. It's not like, it's not a heavy scent at all. And it just makes me happy when I smell it. I just feel good when I wear this. And it makes me feel really feminine in a way that I like to feel feminine, self-confident and very like self-possessed way. And this perfume just really does that for me. So this is a default perfume in that it's just one I really love smelling like all the time. Like I'll just default to this because I love it so much. But I also will pick this on days when I'm like, I want to feel more feminine than I might feel at that time. And I will also wear it on days when I just maybe need to feel a little bit more confident in something because it's reliable and I know it and I know it makes me happy and it just makes me feel good. And so it really instills a lot of confidence in me. It's really interesting because I would say that both of these have that feminine quality, this being floral, this being warm and spicy, like obviously summer, winter, and fall. They're very different perfumes, but they both really give me that sense of like strong, self-possessed femininity that I really like. So tip number 2 that these two perfumes really exemplify. Like I said, I bought Baby Cat when I was running through, when I was going through duty free in Heathrow, which means that I didn't have a lot of time to put it on my skin and test it as I walked around and like spend time wearing it. Very different. This one, when I first bought it, I was able to walk around wearing it for a couple of hours and like knowing how it reacted to my skin. So if you don't know, perfume will really change its scent in reaction to your skin. So how J'adore smells on me is probably not how it will smell on you. It'll smell pretty similar overall, but your body chemistry will change the way that a perfume smells, which is why it is so important to try it out on your skin before you commit to purchasing a bottle this size, especially because like these are expensive bottles. Like this was not cheap. So I think my main tip to people, probably one of the best tips you can get, is definitely wear it on your skin for a day or two to see how it smells to you and how you react to it and how it develops on your skin over time. And that's really easy to do, honestly. Like any perfume counter you go up to at a store like Saks or Macy's or Nordstrom, you can ask for perfume samples and they'll load up like a little sample perfume, which you can get like 2, maybe 3 wears out of. And that'll give you the opportunity to test it out and really see how you like it before you commit to buying the full bottle. I don't know if I'll repurchase Baby Cat, not because I don't like the scent, but you know, like I said, it doesn't totally fill the hole that I was looking for. I wish that it was a little bit more orangey, a little bit more citrus. I don't regret buying it, but I do think that had I had the opportunity to wear it and test it on my skin longer, I might not have made that purchase. When you're investing $150 to $200 in a bottle of perfume, you really want to know that what you're getting works with you and that it really is something you'll come back to time and time again. So don't be afraid to ask for those samples. They're free and you're welcome to have them whenever you want. I'm gonna turn on some light just to be sure you can see me. Okay, hopefully that gives us a little better light. Sorry, it's later in the day than I intended to start filming. So if I opened with like my first 2 like default summer scents, here are 2 scents that I won't say I default to, but that I wear a lot in winter, fall, winter. Okay, so Maison Francis Kurkdjian Gentle Fluidity Gold. There is a Gentle Fluidity Silver. I honestly could not tell you what it smells like. I don't remember. I haven't smelled it in a really long time. Anyway, I have the gold. This is the second time I bought this bottle. I initially picked this one up because I was looking for a very vanilla forward perfume. I wanted something that was sweet but not sugary. I believe, like, you know how some things smell like cupcakes or cookies or chocolate bar, or sometimes people really like these very kind of confectionery smelling scents. I believe that the term for that is gourmand, like it has a gourmand scent to it. This is not your gourmand vanilla. This is like, you know, when you go and you get that vanilla extract, like the organic vanilla extract from the like health food store that's like really pure and really like high quality. It smells like that. It's a bit more herbal and or like earthy. And so I really like that kind of vanilla. I didn't want to smell like a cupcake. Like I love cupcakes, but I don't want to smell like one. So I believe that is called, this would be a like non-gourmand vanilla, I guess would be the technical term for it. So again, let me reference my notes. Okay, according to my notes, this is built around vanilla, amber, and softwoods, which is not the most detailed. So I will put down here a little bit more detail on like Okay, sorry, my camera died, and so I had to replace the battery, of course. So like I said, I will put more detailed scent notes below in case you are like me and you like to know those things. But more importantly, what does this feel like and what kind of emotion does it make me like have? This feels very warm and cozy, but in a very different way than Baby Cat does. Because this is more amber and Baby Cat is more peppery, I think this has more of like an earthiness to it, whereas Baby Cat has more of that like sharp, peppery heat and warmth to it. So this to me feels warm and cozy like a hug, and it's really inviting, and it also smells quite intimate in like a, I don't know, in like a, like a vanilla way. I don't know. Hopefully you understand these words that I'm using and how I mean, but emotion is so personal. It is definitely the sweetest perfume I own, I think. But again, it's not like sugary. So I think there is a bit of softness to this. Yeah, that's, I think, the kind of warmth it is. It's warm, it's cozy, it's soft, it's intimate and inviting, versus I think because Baby Cat has pepper, it's like, it's warm and spicy and a little sharp. So that's kind of the difference between those two. And I use this, I'll layer them together sometimes because this will help sweeten and soften Baby Cat a little bit. But I find this to be a great layering perfume if you want to build sort of a unique scent on yourself by spraying and combining other perfumes. Like this is a great one if you're looking for that sort of vanilla layer. And it's one I wear year round. So in fall and winter, I think of this as like an all day perfume. It's very, again, it's got that warmth and that coziness and that intimacy that is like very much associated with fall and winter, but it's got that sensualness as well. And so I really find this to be quite great as like an evening scent in summer. The other one that I have that is also very cozy and inviting, but in a very different way, is Thin Wild Mercury. And I have to shout out my little sister, shout out Steph. I got Thin Wild Mercury. I discovered this one through a discovery set that she sent me a couple of years ago. Gave it a sniff and put it away because none of it was appealing to me. And then a couple of years later, I found it again and I smelled this one, which is Whiskey 1969. And I love whiskey and I love smoke, and that is what this is. You should definitely check out their website because they've got a great description of, like, they're beautiful descriptions of their perfumes. It's really fun. It's got like the smokiness and bourbon forward flavors that you would expect. It's a little bit like drinking whiskey around a campfire when you're camping. I really like that, but there's like a deeperness to it, sort of a sexierness to it. I think there's some tobacco. Let me pull up my notes. This is why I did this. I have notes just for this reason. The main notes in here are bourbon, cedarwood, oak, incense, and smoke. And yeah, I wouldn't say that there's much leather in there. I think it's mostly the oak and bourbon and smoke. That's what I really smell. And there is like, bourbon has a bit of a vanilla flavor to it. So again, there is sort of that hint of vanilla in here, but that's via the bourbon. This is probably one of the most intense and strongest perfumes I have. And again, like, that might not be your jam. I love an intense smell. And so when I wear this, it's like an all day. It's gonna last you all day. As will Gentle Fluidity, but this is like by far the strongest one I have. And especially because this is very much like a fall winter scent, I'm usually wearing like a sweater or something, like a wool or cashmere sweater when I'm wearing this. And I'll pick up that sweater and smell it again like a day or two later, and it still will have like lingering hints of this on it. It just really lasts a while. Note of caution, if you're using, like, you can see that these have like a very deep bourbony color. If you're wearing light colored clothing, I've never had this problem, but I have heard people say, like, if you spray too much of it, you can kind of stain your white clothing. I'm sure it comes out in the wash and stuff, but just like a word of caution. This is one of the reasons they say, like, maybe spray it on your skin and not on your clothes directly. Also, if you don't like it smelling on your clothes 2 days later, maybe don't smell it sprayed on your sweater. But I like that, and I've never had that problem, so I do. again, I'll layer these two together really often because I want this to just kind of help give a little bit more sweetness to this, but that's only if I want to kind of counteract some of that smokiness a little bit. Otherwise, I live for smoke. I love mezcal, I love whiskey, I love campfires. So who's surprised that this is also one of my favorite scents? I wear this a lot when I just want to be hugged by scent all day. Again, because smokiness is such a like personally comforting scent and reminds me of like campfires and a fireplace, and like really happy memories in my life are associated to time around a campfire. I think this is just a scent that really evokes that very comforting, warm, and inviting like emotion in me. So I do find myself reaching for this a lot on days when I want to feel warmth, and when I want to feel sort of enveloped and cozy and comfortable, and like a hug. This is almost like an emotional hug for me personally. And like I said, I found this through a discovery set, which is tip number 3, I think. I know. Tip number 3 is that if you can, like, obviously go get free samples if you can at first, but there's a lot of niche perfumers out there. You don't need to go through the YSLs and Diors of the world to find some really excellent perfumograms. There's probably like niche perfumes in your city. They're all over the place. I would definitely recommend checking out Thin Wild Mercury. They have excellent perfumes, but you are going to struggle to find them in stores. And so if you can't find them where you can get a free sample, then I highly recommend discovery kits. They make great gifts as well if you're trying to give a perfume person a gift, or if you need somebody who's interested. They make great gifts. But discovery kits are really great ways to try a lot of different perfumes at once, same way that the samples are. It lets you sort of low stakes explore, and you can keep them around and come back to them, because like I said, this didn't really grab me the first time I smelled it, but about 2 years later it like really won me over, and I will repurchase this many times over. I can promise you that. As long as Thin Wild Mercury makes it, I will be buying it. This is the last perfume that I have, and it's very unique in my collection for so many different reasons. And I believe I've talked about this before. I think I mentioned it in my top purchases of 2025, because I just bought this in December, but it's not the first time I bought this. This is a repurchase of a smaller travel size roller bottle. Believe it or not, this is the largest size that they make. This is by a brand called Olivine Atelier, which I believe it might be Seattle based. It was initially founded in Seattle, or the person who founded it was from Seattle. Anyway, I'm gonna count it as a local brand. Shout out local brand. This is a great perfume. This is Blue Moon. It's part of their 13 Moons collection. So there's like 13 different scents in that collection. You can find it on their website. I will link that in the description box below, but this is the best one I've found so far. And it's wildly different than anything else I have. And it's also different in its formula. So it's an oil-based perfume, like rollerball application. I do believe that oil scents tend to be a bit more intense naturally than like the sprays. Like there's alcohol and water in these, so these are a bit more concentrated, thus the smaller size. Like for reference, I believe something like this was like $185, and this was almost $100, and like because this is so concentrated. So you just roll it on a little bit in, the pressure point spots where you typically apply perfume. What makes this unique, aside from its formula, is its scent. So this is a very mineral, marine forward scent. And I love that. It smells like a sea breeze. It smells like just fresh, clean air. Like I'm walking along the cliffs next to the sea, and the wind is blowing my hair, and there's some sunshine, but it's just like a really fresh, clean day. And it smells mysterious. This is, I think, the scent that most evokes the sense of character. I know I kind of talked about how there's, I've sort of talked about it with Baby Cat a little bit, but they're scents that sometimes just evoke a character in you. Like I said, like a mysterious woman standing on a cliff next to the ocean. So the notes in here are going to be sea salt, mineral notes, jasmine, and soft florals. So you definitely, like I said, you get the sea breeze, the mineral, and the floral in here. It's very perfect for it. And it's also the only scent I have that really feels particular to spring. I would wear this if in the summer and stuff, if the weather was kind of crisper or we were having a cooler day, or like I live next to Puget Sound, so if the sea breeze was coming in and I really got sort of that vibe. But I find it to be better for like spring and kind of the part of fall where you get that crisp wind coming in. I think it needs a little bit of crispness to make sense. It's not cold, but it's cool weather. You know what I mean? Like there's just something about it that says cool weather. I don't know. It feels very right for the part of the world that I live in. And I really, really like it. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining. If I had to pick my top scents, these are probably the 4 that I like the most, which is interesting. They're quite different, like very floral, very smoky, very minerally, and the sweetest one I have. And then the other ones, as much as I like them, I think these are my top 4. Like if I only had to have 4, it would be these. I think also what's interesting as I look at the full collection, like you can sort of see that I have a strong gravitation towards certain things, right? Like I clearly like warm scents, and I clearly like floral scents. You know, this has floral in it. This has some floral in it. I like scents that have orange in it. I like jasmine was in a lot of these. White florals was in a lot of these. Vanilla is in a lot of these. You can tell that again, like I said, I don't like gourmand scents. You can definitely tell the scents that I gravitate towards. You know, these vanilla scents are going to be a much softer scent. I know I don't want to smell like food. Well, I want to smell like whiskey, but not food. And I want to smell like a flower, but I don't want to be overpowered by a floral scent. I don't want it to be heavy. I don't want it to be super sweet. I don't like powdery scents. And I do like a marine scent, but it has to be a very like mineral forward marine scent. I do sometimes find that like more aqua based scents can feel a little like a bathroom. I don't know. You know how sometimes there's like a very bathroomy smell? Not in like a bad way, but in like I don't know. There's just something about it. I don't really like those. I like very clean, fresh, airy scents. So yeah, I think it's really helpful to see like, okay, what am I gravitating towards and what am I not gravitating towards? And also, what am I missing? So I've identified that like I would like a stronger citrus scent. Like I need one that has maybe a bit more orange in the warm season category, and I need something with more intensity that I can wear in the summer since this fades so quickly. I might think next time I go shopping for something that I want something a bit more minerally and a bit more like water-based, because clearly I like that and I have room for more of that. I'm actually on the hunt for a really like wintry scent to counteract these. So these are my winter perfumes, and they're all very warm, spicy, sweet, smoky. I would really love to find a perfume that smells like fresh fallen snow and birch trees, and maybe some like black tea or bergamot in there. I've never been able to find it. I got this idea like a year and a half ago, and I've been searching and I haven't found anything. So if you have any suggestions of a very like fresh winter scent that has those sorts of profiles in it, please let me know. I would love to find one. But yeah, I think that's another like obvious hole that I could fill, because like this can be my summer and like I can move some of these around, but I really don't have a very fresh winter scent, and so that's a gap that I might be able to fill. So it's just things like that when you look at your collection and you see, you know, what you like and where you might have a gap, that allows you to shop with more intentionality. And I really like having a small perfume collection because I do feel certain ways, you know, my emotions flux, and it's nice to have a scent that can reflect that. And it's also nice to have a couple of scents that can help trigger the emotion I want to feel. Like I said, if I'm having a day where I'm feeling kind of agitated, it's nice to have something like whiskey that I can spray and have like nice calm memories associated to that helps me sort of calm down. Or if I'm feeling a little bit less confident than I'd like to, Baby Cat can help kind of drive some energy and like sharpness in there and confidence. And if I want to feel feminine and I'm kind of having a day when I feel like meh about myself, then like almost always it's J'adore, because it just automatically gives me this feeling of femininity and confidence. So those are some tips. Just to quickly run through them again. Know what emotion evokes in you, test it on your skin, and really try discovery sets to find perfumes that are outside of like the main brands that you might know. All right, well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll let me know what you enjoyed in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, it would be nice if you'd consider doing that. It really does help me out. If you want to watch some more videos, there's plenty to choose from, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.